Hello, welcome back to my channel and to another reaction video. This time I'll be checking out a couple of pitch meaning from the first two Home Alone movies.
You had a movie idea for me. Yes, sir, I do. See, last month my wife and my brother went on vacation together alone. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. No, what? Don't be sorry. They accidentally forgot me at home. Are you sure that's what happened? Well, yeah, of course. Why else would they not bring me on a vacation to Paris? All right, I mean, okay. And so, you know, I got to be home all alone. That's great, buddy. It was great. I ate candy, I watched movies, I went grocery shopping all by myself. Okay, to be honest, I'm not getting what the movie idea is, and I'm getting a little sad. Right, so I was thinking, if I'm having such an amazing time, imagine if this happened to an 8-year-old kid. You want to make a movie where a child's wife cheats on him? What? No, I want a kid to be accidentally left at home while his family goes on vacation. I guess my question is, how would that ever happen? Well, his family leaves on a vacation and they don't realize he's not with them. Yeah, but okay, it just seems like a really improbable thing. Oh yeah, I'm well aware. Okay, so... Well, I was doing some research and there's this thing in storytelling called the suspension of disbelief. What's that? They say that the audience sacrifices realism and logic for the sake of enjoyment. Oh, so the audience will kind of just overlook unrealistic things? Right, so I think if we exploit that to like an extreme level, we're good. Huh. Interesting. So I think I figured out like the perfect storm of unrealistic coincidences to get this premise off the ground. All right, you got me, I'm listening. Okay, so first off, the kid has to be part of a huge family. Like it has to be big enough that you wonder if they've ever heard of birth control. Plus some uncles and cousins can be there too. They also all have to be really mean to the kid so he can wish that they would disappear. Then they also have to accidentally throw his plane ticket in the trash. Then they also have to make him sleep in the attic so they don't see him when they're leaving. There also has to be a huge storm the night before the departure that knocks out the phone line so they can't contact him when they're gone. That storm also has to knock out the power. That way their alarms can shut off in the night and they wake up late for their flight. Also, the kid needs to sleep so heavily that he doesn't hear 15 people running around and yelling. There also has to be a random little kid that shows up at the exact moment they're doing a head count so they can get it wrong. Then we have to have nobody think of him even a little bit until they're mid-flight. So they really have to be like an awful family. They have to be the worst family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, also then the kid has to wake up and think he's magic because he wished that they disappeared, and they did. Wouldn't he just make the connection that they were supposed to leave on a trip that morning? You'd think so, but if we have him not understand what an airport shuttle is, he can look at their cars and be like, there's no way they could have gotten to the airport without those. So he thinks he magically erased his family from existence? Right. So just to be clear, we need to have all those extremely unlikely scenarios play out one after the other just to get this kid alone at home by himself? That's right. And this suspension of disbelief. Right, with that, people will just be okay with all of that. Apparently, yeah, all of that. All of that. Yeah, pretty cool, right? Well, then awesome. So tell me more about this kid, Kevin McAllister. Well, you know how his family is the worst? Yeah, I imagine he's like the only nice one in the family. Oh no, he's also the worst. Oh, he is? Yeah, he calls his mom a dummy and he's really snarky with everyone. He's also unable to pack a suitcase, like it's the end of the world for him to do that. And how does he get over the trauma of the situation? The trauma? Well, I mean, in Kevin's mind, he's essentially just killed his family with a wish. I imagine that's gonna be hard for him to come to terms with. Actually, super easy, barely an inconvenience. Really? Well, I probably should have mentioned before that Kevin is a psychopath. Oh yeah. We're talking complete disregard for the physical and emotional well-being of everyone he comes across in his life. And he talks to himself kind of a lot. So he's happy that they're dead. He's thrilled. He has a little eyebrow celebration thing, and then he does all the exact same stuff I did when I was home alone, except I didn't shave. Does anything else happen, or do we just watch a kid go crazy at home by himself? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's where things get really interesting. How's that? Well, it turns out that 2 burglars have their hearts set on breaking into the McAllister house. So why this house in particular? One of them mentioned something about it probably having some VCRs. VCRs are great, and they always will be. So these guys think that the house is empty because they've been casing the joint. Oh no. But Kevin finds out that they want to break in. So he calls the cops? No. Well, eventually. Eventually, why not right away? Because of the psychopath thing. Oh. I don't get it. Well, the bandits break in, but Kevin is like some kind of genius. Like he set up a bunch of intricate death traps that they walk into one by one. But you said the kid was freaked out about packing a suitcase, like that was too much. Oh, right. And now he's like a death trap engineer? Yeah, no, that's a mistake. I'll change the suitcase thing. That doesn't make any sense. Meh, it's probably fine. You sure? It's no problem. I could change it to something that makes the whole death trap engineer make sense. Nah, keep the suitcase thing. It's all good. Okay, so he's too stupid to pack a suitcase, but He's great at traps. So what happens with the robbers? Well, they somehow survive a bunch of very, very fatal injuries. Wow. Yeah, and in the middle of the robbery, it seems like they forget that they wanted to rob the house, and now they just want to murder this child. It becomes about murder. It seems that way. Because at a certain point, Kevin just leaves them alone in the house, and they don't take anything. Just focused on the kid, no more VCRs. Yep, so at the end, they get arrested because they tried to break in and murder a child. It's very dark. And then overnight, he manages to clean up all the traps, including some stairs covered in tar. And then his family comes back the next day and immediately ignore him again. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I think it might have some potential, but it's missing something, some kind of big selling point. Do you have anything in mind? Well, we could try the Christmas play. I mean, that rarely works, but what's that? That's when you make a movie take place at Christmas time, even if it has almost nothing to do with Christmas time. So people think, oh, this is a Christmas movie, I have to watch it. Exactly. Would that work if I just add in a couple of random Christmas elements? Well, it's certainly not going to be a Christmas classic, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah, Home Alone is it's pretty messed up if you think about it. But yeah, what the thing I was trying to say mid reaction when he talked about suspension of disbelief is that, I mean, I know that these days whenever movies come out, people complain if it's, not realistic enough, but back in the 90s and before, movies weren't about realism, they were all about escapism. So, but yeah, and I do love that these days there's an ongoing gag going on that this is the origin of John Kramer Jigsaw from the Saw franchise. But yeah, and Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2, I think, are both Christmas classics. Weirdly enough, I saw Home Alone 2 before I saw Home Alone 1, so that's why to a lot of people Home Alone 1 is maybe their favorite Christmas movie, but for me it's Home Alone 2. And I'll be checking out the pitch meeting for Home Alone 2 next.
So, you have a Home Alone sequel script for me? Yes, sir, I do, and it only took me like 20 minutes to put together. How is that possible? Well, I just took every single story beat and plot point from the first movie and made them all a little more intense or elaborate. Oh, that's smart, because people liked the first movie, they gave me money to see it. Right, so I figured they'd pay us a bunch of money to see it again, but different. I love it already, so how are we kicking things up a notch? Well, instead of being alone at home, this time Kevin is gonna be alone in New York City. Oh, New York City is much bigger than a home. I thought so too. So how does Kevin end up alone in NYC? Well, the family's planning on heading down to Florida for Christmas, but the dad accidentally unplugs the alarm clock the night before they leave, so they have to rush to the airport again. They have one alarm clock for a house of 14 people and they don't double check it before bed. That's what we're going with. Stretching that suspension of disbelief real thin. Yes, sir, I am. Wow. So anyway, everybody's running through the airport and Kevin tells his dad, hey dad, I need batteries for my Talkboy recorder thing. So the dad's like, I'll give you the batteries on the plane. We're extremely late and this is not a priority at all. No, he hands Kevin a bag that has his wallet and some cash in it. There's no way anyone would actually do that though. I know, but this way Kevin will have some spending money in New York. Okay, so we're taking another little break from logic so that can happen. Oh yeah, we're gonna take a lot of those kinds of breaks. I guess we'll have to. And so Kevin gets separated from his family and follows someone he thinks is his dad onto the wrong plane. Isn't it hard for him to get past airport employees and security? Actually, super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, the airport people just kind of take Kevin's word for it that his dad's on that plane. I didn't realize how laid back airport security was. Yeah, well, it's the early 90s right now, so airport security isn't that much of a concern yet. Fair enough. Vaguely ominous statements about the future are tight. Yeah, I guess that was pretty weird of me. So how does Kevin not realize that he's not on the same plane as his family? Well, his mom said that because it's Christmas time, they couldn't get seats together. They were lucky to even be on the same flight. So how is there an empty seat for him on the New York plane? I don't know. Fair enough. So yeah, then Kevin's gonna get to New York and the fun's gonna begin. Wow, so what does he do? Oh, he's gonna go to a fancy hotel and commit a bunch of credit card fraud and identity theft to get a room. Oh my god. But like in a cute way. Okay, good. Yeah, but this one concierge thinks the whole thing is super suspicious. Oh, so he stops Kevin before he goes up to the room.
Tim
No,
Curry
later
was
he's
great
gonna sneak
in this
into
role.
Kevin's room. Oh, he is? Yeah, well, he wants to confirm his suspicions that Kevin is alone in there. So best case scenario in this guy's mind, he's breaking into a child's room and finding that child all alone alone. Well, it sounds creepy when you say it like that. I think it sounds creepy any way you say it because it's super creepy. Maybe. And what else happens in New York? Oh, well, Kevin's gonna have to deal with some bad guys again. Oh, I guess the city is a perfect place to introduce some wacky new criminals. Well, actually, I was thinking it could be Harry and Marv from the first movie. But weren't they arrested in Chicago? Yeah. So how would that even be possible? Well, they escaped from prison and got onto a fish truck that ended up in New York City on the same day that Kevin McAllister arrived. My disbelief is so suspended right now. Yeah, and they keep crossing paths with Kevin on the street, so eventually Harry's like, hey, that's the kid that sent us to jail. They keep crossing paths with him? Yeah, you know how you always just kind of come across the same people in New York? That almost never happens. There are like 7 million people in New York. Oh, I thought there were like 200. You thought there were 200 people living in New York City? Yeah, now you're telling me 7 million. This whole thing seems pretty far-fetched. Won't this kind of be covered by the whole suspension of disbelief thing? I don't know, I have people running into each other kind of a lot. Oh, you do? Yeah, Kevin keeps running into the same crazy bird lady. Marv gets hit in the face twice by the same lady on separate occasions. How does that happen? Well, later Marv and Harry manage to grab Kevin, right? Okay. And so to escape, Kevin pinches a random lady's butt. And it turns out to be the same exact woman that Marv had sexually harassed earlier that day. Wow, what are the odds of that? Well, I thought they were 1 in 200. Right. Anyway, so Marv and Harry's big plan is to rob this place called Duncan's Toy Store and then fly away to an island. Pretty horrible plan. But then Kevin decides to save Christmas by stopping them. Okay. And then he lures them to his uncle's house that's undergoing renovations, and he has a bunch of traps set up for them. Oh, some clever traps? Yeah, but also, you know, just throwing bricks at their faces from the roof. Oh my god. Yeah, Marv is gonna take like 5 bricks to the face. That's incredibly intense. It is. And then inside the house, we're gonna have a bunch of super deadly traps that defy physics. But somehow, Marv and Harry just don't die. How do they survive all that stuff? Well, we're gonna have this big reveal where you find out that Harry and Marv are actually immortal. What? Yeah, so we're gonna have this psychopath kid trying to murder these 2 immortal beings, but they're just not dying. I'm not sure I like the reveal of them being immortal beings. So what, you want Kevin to successfully kill them? No, I'd say keep all the deadly traps, just take out the reveal. But there's no way they can survive any of that without being immortal. It's literally the only explanation that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of it. Okay. And how does the movie end? Well, Kevin's entire family's gonna fly up to see him. What happened to that whole thing about it being impossible to get plane tickets on Christmas? Well, that line was at the beginning of the movie, so I'm hoping people are gonna forget we said it. Oh, fingers crossed. And then Kevin's dad is gonna see like a $900 hotel bill and lose his mind. Didn't he just fly 14 people across the country twice? Why is he mad about $900? So we can have this fun ending where he yells in the hotel room and Kevin hears him all the way in Central Park. The dad yells in the hotel and Kevin hears him in Central Park. Yeah, he does. No, he doesn't. Yeah, he does. That's not possible. It's a funny ending. Get off my back. But it doesn't make any sense. My back is where you are and I'd love for you to vacate the premises. Okay, well, I'm at least gonna try to get the Plaza Hotel, so at the very least the hotel will be right across from Central Park. Oh, you think you can get the Plaza Hotel? Yeah, apparently if you give the owner a cameo, you can use any of his buildings for your movies. It's like this ego thing that he has. Wait, who owns the Plaza Hotel?
Yeah, I heard about that, but yeah. Wow, they really did remove the logic in everything that happens in this movie. But again, I said it before. Movies those days were all about were all about escapism, not realism. And yeah, I saw this movie before I saw Home Alone 1, and I absolutely love this one. And I just saw it a few years ago, and it still holds up quite a nostalgia value for me. So, but yeah, I do remember being seeing this as a child, and the traps were. I was wondering, shouldn't that, kill them so many times? Especially the brick one. It was so painful to watch. But yeah, I forgot all about the blonde lady and the ass pinching and stuff like that. I did remember the crazy bird lady. I remember a scene where they were in an attic of a concert hall or something like that. And of course I have no idea what airport security was way back in the 90s or before, but yeah, I assume it wasn't as strict as it is these days. But yeah, and I know there are. I noticed there's a couple of more Home Alone pitch meetings. There's like 4 Home Alone movies, but the other 2 have nothing to do with the McAllisters, I think so. But yeah, should I check those out? I haven't seen the movies, so hopefully that doesn't ruin the experience. Hoppas att märks, subscribe if you want, and I will see another video.